Here's what we're gonna talk about today. We're going to talk about the communist Marxist agenda and the destruction of the American family. We're going to go over a quick recap, talk about the destruction of the American family. Got some stats for you. We're going to talk about the.
Order, Mayor.
This is council comments.
Point of order is in order. Councilperson Reynolds, what's your point of order?
Mayor, point of order is, I understand that we can raise issues, but ethically we should only be able to raise issues that are going to be part of an agenda item if we wanted to.
This is council comments.
Hang on, let her finish her point and I'll come back to you for a remark.
If we're going to attack members of our community, it should be fact-based, it should be with an information, and if we are going to continue to allow these attacks on people and family members, people that we go to church with, people that we see in the store, they need to be with information and they need to be cited. In the past, and even up here, there's no citations. There's only hate speech without any really research and documentation of where this information is coming from. I would like to know, ethically speaking, why do we continue? This will be the fourth time, and there's no, well, we call it an agenda item. We're not going to vote on anything. If the speaker wanted to do something legislatively, we actually have the legislative agenda. We could say something that we want the state to, double down on their hate speech and double down on all the terrible laws that they're passing that are unconstitutional. But just to continue here and attack women and LGBTQ, and now we're going to talk about declining birth rates. I mean, what's next? Are we going to have like a list of black jobs? We're going to have a list of white women jobs? I mean, this is ridiculous. Why are we allowing this? How is this ethical?
Well, it doesn't violate the city ethics code, first of all, and secondly, he has a First Amendment right to say it. As much as I disagree with it, he has, just like you have the right to say what you want to, as long as it doesn't incite violence.
Mayor, is this not, and I'm going to get real personal here. I am the mother of an active duty son in the Navy. I have a son that leaves the country. I have literally had to call my son and tell my son in the Navy to go to his chain of command because I'm standing up against hate and that he could be a target. This is inciting violence. This is inciting things that are going to make our community unsafe. This hate speech is making members of our community feel unsafe, and we should not be tolerating this. I don't know why we continue to do this. If you wanted to do this, it belongs in whatever He-Man, woman hater, KKK meeting. That's where this belongs. Not on the floor, inciting violence and really just hate speech at our community. I don't know why we're doing this. I don't understand. What is the point other than hate?
Well,
Okay, hang on a second. She asked a point of order. We've discussed a point of order. He is within his rights to say what he would like as long as it meets, it doesn't violate any law. Whether it violates someone's sensitivities and truly creates a hostile environment is strictly up to him, but he has the right to do it.
Yeah.
And again, I don't agree with it, but he's got the right to say it.
And
So let's continue on
Okay.
with your presentation. And if council members and the public would like to leave, you are welcome to do so.
And I'd like to address the comments made. The reason I'm doing this ultimately is because like a lot of people in our society, in the LGBT community, they're highly addicted to like this really addictive pornography. It brainwashes them, and kids are getting addicted to it. And this is all over the internet. We
Hang on. And
I've had it.
Whoa, hang on.
I've had it.
All right.
Request for verification of that information.
I can get on YouTube right now and show it to you.
We're not, hang on. We're not going back and forth. Let's do comments and get
Okay.
on with it, please.
I'm going to go ahead and continue my presentation.
You're recognized.
And so, okay, so we're just going to do a quick recap. We talked about investment companies like BlackRock and Vanguard. They pretty much own everything. They can put the different agendas with governments, and they can implement forced social change, and that's what we're seeing right now. Example be DEI officers, which are really just propaganda officers. We explored that. The LGBTQ Marxist activist group is trying to indoctrinate, sexualize, drug, and mutilate your children. These are real legal examples.
Hang on.
I'm giving you examples. You got a
Let's-
phone. Look it up.
Let him finish, and then I'll recognize you, and you can pick it apart word by word.
Yeah, just Google it.
No,
Google.
hang on. Continue on
Okay.
with your
so we've got
presentation.
some bills up there that anyone can Google if they are concerned about this. We talked about society being sick. That's myself included, and we all need to wake up and repent. And I still think that. We're going to talk about Karl Marx. He's the founder of communism. He wrote the Communist Manifesto, which is basically like the Bible of the communists. He did some other like theatrical works that are just not very good. But the quote up there is it's from the Communist Manifesto. I believe it's from chapter 2. And it's abolition of the family, but you say we want to destroy the most hallowed of relations when we replace home education by social. So what that means is they want to remove the element of the parent in order to get to the child. That way they can indoctrinate them. This is in the Communist Manifesto. Sorry, Mayor. So why destroy the family unit? It makes people easier to control. You can dissolve the culture because you don't have that same culture being reinforced from two different elements. It leaves children vulnerable due to not having a support system, and it makes people susceptible to groupthink. So there's no family outside influences, so people are more susceptible to, if they get accepted into like just a social group, fraternity, activist group, whatever, they're more likely to agree just for the sake of social repercussions, so to speak. The destruction is slow and generational. There's one theory that talked about it like being like from like the 1960s. In the university systems, they slowly try to make the university systems more and more liberal. That's one of the theories. I'm not saying that I agree. I'm just stating one of the theories. The first process they started doing when they're breaking up the families, they really focused on the Black American families, and they succeeded, and they're succeeding all around our society right now. And it's everyone else's turn now. And you got to think, you get the father as the protector, and then the mother who's the nurturer, and remove one of the elements, and it really throws a wrench in things. Only 30% of families have two parents in the household, so that just leaves 62% of single parents in the household, and that's what they want. They don't want the parents to be able to watch the child. Why would they like that? Because it's easier to manipulate children, whether it's on the schools or the internet. We talked about examples of rainbows being just like the communist agenda, and the rainbows being in video games and children's books and all kinds of stuff. They can teach them with gender identity and sexualization. If the child, because they teach these sexualization and gender identity, if the child gets addicted to cross-dressing, becomes transgender, that creates lifelong medical patients. And so they've got to take hormones for the rest of their life. It's really good money. It's a good investment, I guess, if you invest in medical companies, but it's lifelong medical patients. A lot of times the hormones, they have negative side effects, and so what they have to do is they have to take other drugs to counter the negative side effects. So more drugs means more profit. So it's an endless cycle. Typically, like trans people that are on puberty blockers and hormones and all this other stuff, they don't age as well. So then you've got the cosmetic surgeries and all that other stuff. So it's a cash cow. And they take a drug just to be a false version of themselves. Let me get my place here.
Yeah, keep finding your heat.
And so I'm gonna show a stat, and I just feel like everybody needs to know, because if a child says that they're having these thoughts, like, just know like what you're getting into. It's the trans community. This is the UCLA School of Law, July 20th. They released it on July 20th, 2023. And they said there's about a 42% chance of transgender adults attempting suicide in 56 have engaged in non-suicidal self-harm. And so I'm going to put the camera back on me. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. And so I know that's really, really hard. And, to people out there in that community, like just don't be a part of the community. Like you can be homosexual and be in our in our society. Just don't be a part of the LGBT. It's not a route that you want to go down. And if you've done damage to yourself, it's not too late. Like we all suffer from addictions. Like I can completely relate with what's going on, but we've got to come together, and we've got to own our problems, and we've got to improve ourselves. We've got to become better versions of ourselves, and that includes myself as well, as a person who struggles with a lot of stuff. But we're going to go back to the presentation now. Appreciate it. Thank you. So if you mix all the information I've given you with the decline in fertility rates, so fertility rates have been dropping from 2014 to 2020 consistently. It's about 2% every year, and so fertility rates are dropping. People are having less children. And so you look at all the stances of the leftist, communist, Marxists. We're almost done, Mayor. So they're for pro-abortion, pretty much at any stage. That adds zero population. The LGBTQ community, that's zero population. Brainwashing and sterilizing children, zero population. And there's the overpopulation agenda. Don't have kids, save the planet, is what they say. But that adds zero population as well. So a lot of people are like, well, we've got a declining population. Does the Marxists do they have a solution for it? And they do. It's by replacing all of us with illegal immigrants, and it's happening right now. You can do your own research. That's all I'd like to ask is just everyone to do their own research. We're almost done. But we don't know how many are in the country. Some of the estimations are around 10 million illegal people. That's a lot of people. Other estimations are around 35 million. That is a ton of people. That's just dwarfs the United States Army. It dwarfs. That's like 35 million. That's like 5 times the size of Tennessee, I think. Just to put it in perspective. But we don't know who they are or where they came from. And so we look at it and we're like, society's got these problems. We got all these issues, and like, why don't you go? And this is to Clarksville, and this is part of my journey as well. And I'm asking you to come along with me on the journey. And that's let's just go church shopping. Just pick a church, and especially like if you're a single mom or single parent, take your child and just go around to different churches and see what you can fit. That's an Orthodox church. I'm not really exactly sure. That's not in Clarksville, but it takes slow steps forward to make progress, and sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But that's pretty much going to conclude this presentation. I'd like to give all glory to God. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and that will conclude my presentation. Thank you.
Councilperson Reynolds, you're recognized.
That was the most ungodly, unchristian presentation I've had to sit through yet. I'd like to pick a few pieces apart, as the mayor said. I'd like to talk about our job as elected officials are to take care of all members of our community without being partial. We are supposed to separation of church and state. It doesn't matter who you pray to. It doesn't matter who you love. It doesn't matter what color of skin you are, and it doesn't matter how much money you have. When you come as a resident, it is our job to represent you with equity and equality. This is unethical. This is wrong because this is saying that a portion of our community does not deserve to be treated the same as the rest of them. He talked about, and I talked about being unsafe. This is making a segment of our population very unsafe. We're sitting up here painting targets on the backs of members of our community. And if you think that's not true, then I will tell you, you are not paying attention. I am the mother of a gay son who will never come back to Tennessee, and the mother of 2 brown sons who will never come back to Tennessee because of this kind of behavior. And this silence is compliance, and this type of behavior at every level in our state, because we continue to do this. And we talked about family and family values. I want you to know that I have real family values. I have unconditional love for my sons. I was a single mom, and we were a family unit. However you think they should define, that is not your place to define my true family values. You can have yours, and I can have mine. And the fertility rates are dropping because people in Tennessee need representatives like us to pay attention to affordability and attainable housing, and building safe roads, safe routes for them to get back and forth, providing jobs that pay a decent living, not just the lowest that a corporation can come in and pay. We are here to support families, not attack them. And when you talk about the suicide rate among the LGBTQ community, it is exactly this kind of speech, hate speech, that causes them to not want to be the way God made them, and to think that they're wrong. And so if I grew up with a sister, I served in the military, and I raised a son, I know they hid from themselves, and they hid from people like those that speak out loud like this and then continue to tolerate it. If we want to, every life matters, and if we care about suicide and homicide, we will change and stop this hate speech and just accept people the way God made them, and do the best we can for every citizen in our community. So I think that's all I got.
Any other comment or question? Seeing none, we are adjourned until next week. See you at the Planning Commission next Thursday at 6 p.m.
Mr. Bittner,